Dreamer Plays.
Hi guys, welcome to the Master Guide series where we'll be focusing on hero building. Hit that subscribe button if you want to progress in your game. We'll be having a complete coverage of each hero and subtitles will be available, so do turn them on. Smart Mode season lasts for 3 months and new floors will always be updated, so today we'll be looking at our incredible Smart Mode DPS Bidam. Being used in Smart Mode, Bidam requires PVE weapons and in fact lethal ones. Why lethal? That is because both his skills have guaranteed crit and also ignore defense, so the only other multiplier you want to increase is lethal and lethal damage. Giving him higher lethal on his weapons will give him higher chance to inflict lethal damage. I personally feel that giving him just plus 10 revolutionary items is good enough. Of course, if you can afford, then go ahead and equip him with World Boss Lethal Fangs. For Bidam's armor, he should be given counter. Counter is best due to his awaken passive. RIP that beautiful animation. His awaken passive allows him to hit 3 targets with every basic attack, which means you will definitely want him to be countering more so that he can inflict wider damage. Furthermore, his special Smart Mode passive Power of Hwarang allows him to mark heroes, and he deals additional damage on an enemy with 2 markers. So combining all these effects, you not only have Bidam inflicting damage on many enemies, you also allow him to mark enemies. Basically, this is to help him maximize the capability of both his passive and do a lot of heavy damage in Smart Mode. Like any other DPS, Bidam will most definitely benefit from the same jewels that Taka uses. Most importantly, it is the PVE crit and lethal damage jewel, which give him all the important multipliers. Then it is the PVE physical attack jewel to boost his attack stat. And the last jewel is again really flexible for Bidam, and you can have so many options for it. You may face heroes with Reflect in Smart Mode, and in this case, if you have the Reflect immunity fallout of old jewel, this will completely keep him alive because if he gets reflected with the damage he deals, he will definitely die. Another jewel could be the skill cooldown jewel to let him use his skills more frequently and lets you clear the floors faster. I think PVE damage could actually also be useful for him if you do not have a damage buffer like Rachel, Dylan's, Roro or Kagura on your team. Lethal Raid Jewel is also possible to ensure that this lethal multiplier takes effect. Counter Raid as well is to ensure that he has 100% counter, so he continuously mark enemies and deal a lot of damage. Basic attack damage increase and chance to attack twice on basic attack are also 2 very good alternatives for him to amp up the damage he inflicts while countering. You may even want to give him increased awakening gauge charge speed so that he can quickly activate his passive, but I personally feel that it is better to give him the above mentioned jewels to increase his damage output instead. Of course, for new players, you can easily just stick with a crit damage and lethal raid jewel if you do not have the other special jewels. These 3 can take the form of basic jewels for the beginning until you are able to swap better jewels on him to clear the flaws you need. One of the preferred accessories for Bidam would either be the Guardian Ring with critical damage or Willful Ring with critical damage. Critical damage as the substat is so that Bidam is able to achieve the most possible maximum damage. The 2 immunity rings are so that Bidam will not get killed by death damage and also enemies with exploit vulnerability or increased accuracy, which will ignore his evasion and kill him if he had no immunity. A fun alternative to critical damage is giving him Death debuff, which essentially inflicts extra damage in PvE since Death can't be casted. Another option would be Lifesteal with critical damage or Isabella's Vigor with critical damage, but it is not a must if your team already has Chris or Heavenia since they heal the team when an enemy dies. Furthermore, Bidam himself has 100% evasion for 5 turns, but he may die very easily once this evasion is removed, so healing may not even happen. For new players, crit damage accessory itself is the most recommended. If you simply do not have enough of these, a lethal raid accessory or counter raid accessory are also possible alternatives. Lifesteal is also good if your Bidam is not highly transcended and may require some self-sustenance. For Bidam's traits, crit and lethal damage boosts are the most recommended tool for him. Again, this is to boost his damage to the highest possible. There are many options for the last trait. You may want to give him accuracy rate increase when facing enemies that evade in Smart Mode like the light element in Tartarus. You may want to give him lethal rate or counter rate increase or reflect nullification to compensate for the lack of jewels of the same substat. You may also decide to boost his damage output by giving him traits to increase damage dealt on certain enemy types. This is mainly in tab 3 for the trait section and allows you to customize Bidam according to whatever you are facing. For new players, I think traits are not a priority for him. Even without traits, he can do incredibly well, and you can check out the video above to see how he performs without them. For Bidam's exclusive item, it is to help his awakening gauge increase faster. It is very helpful to be honest, but I feel that if you do not have the shadow ores and gold to spare, you do not have to unlock it. After all, it is only a matter of time before his awaken passive activates. Finally, Bidam's soul skills are really easy to select. I have highlighted all these that will greatly help Bidam as a smart mode DPS. Mainly skill cooldown I feel, because it will help him a lot and it will allow you to use his skills at a much faster rate. Physical attack increase will definitely help as well as those in grade 3 and grade 5, which are similar to the traits which increase damage on certain enemy types. With that, I've come to the end of this master guide to craft your Bidam. My last thoughts on Bidam are that though he is not a hero you will constantly be using, but in that period you are using him, you definitely want him to have the best so that you can clear smart mode as soon as possible and get as much resources as you can. This will really help in your game's progress. So if you found this video helpful, do give it a like and do subscribe to my channel. More guides are coming and will be out as soon as they are done. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments as well. Thank you so much and see you!